Steelers fans, before we jump into today's breaking story, let's start with something we all agree on. This team is working relentlessly to improve every single week. From the coaching staff to the locker room, the message has been clear. The Steelers are not satisfied with being average. They want to compete, dominate, and bring winning football back to Pittsburgh. So, if you love seeing the black and gold aiming higher every day, smash that like button right now. It really helps get the word out to more fans like you. All right, let's dive in because today's topic could completely change the trajectory of the Steelers' offense. There's a growing buzz out of Miami, and it could spell opportunity for Omar Khan and the Steelers front office. According to NFL insider Tony Pauline, the Steelers have renewed interest in Miami Dolphins wide receiver Jalen Waddle, one of the league's fastest and most electrifying young playmakers. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The Dolphins and longtime GM Chris Grier have officially parted ways after 25 years. Miami's sitting at 2-7, and the franchise looks to be on the verge of a massive reset, maybe even the end of the Mike McDaniel era. That means big changes are coming, and no one is off limits, not even a star like Waddle. And you can bet the Steelers front office noticed. Tony Pauline reports that Pittsburgh has both Waddle and Calvin Ridley circled as potential trade targets, but Waddle sits right at the top of that list. And with Grier gone, that door that was once firmly shut might now be cracked open just enough for Omar Khan to make another bold move, something he's proven he's not afraid to do. The Pittsburgh Steelers are in the market for another wide receiver. Two names I'm hearing as trade targets are Jalen Waddle of the Miami Dolphins and Calvin Ridley of the Tennessee Titans, Pauline wrote. If Miami truly starts tearing things down, moving Waddle could be one of their biggest rebuilding chips and one of Pittsburgh's biggest opportunities in years. Let's be honest, Steelers Nation. The offense still hasn't reached its full potential. DK Metcalf has added size and attitude, Calvin Austin III brings speed, but the unit still feels one weapon short of being truly explosive. That's where Jalen Waddle changes everything. At just 26 years old, Waddle already has 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons under his belt, and he's on pace for a 4th this year. He currently has 586 yards and 4 touchdowns, numbers that would lead the Steelers in receiving yards by a comfortable margin. Imagine a trio of DK Metcalf, Jalen Waddle, and Calvin Austin III on the field together. You'd have size, speed, and versatility, something Pittsburgh hasn't seen since the peak days of Antonio Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster. Defenses would have no way to double cover everyone, and Aaron Rodgers, or whoever lines up under center, would finally have a modern, dynamic offense built to compete with the best in the AFC. Now let's get into the price. The Dolphins won't give up Waddle for cheap. He's young, productive, and under contract. Realistically, the Steelers would need to part with a day 2 pick, maybe a 2nd or 3rd rounder in the 2026 NFL Draft, just to start the conversation. And honestly, that's worth it. Pittsburgh has made aggressive moves before. Jalen Ramsey, DK Metcalf, and they've shown they're willing to take big swings when the fit is right. Adding Waddle would be another one of those go-for-it moments. The kind of signals to the rest of the league that the Steelers aren't just trying to sneak into the playoffs. They're trying to build a contender right now. The front office has the draft capital and flexibility to make it happen. The only question is, will they? Now, here's where things take a twist. While the potential Waddle trade dominates headlines, another topic is quietly bubbling beneath the surface, and it could tie directly into Pittsburgh's long-term strategy. Is it time to consider trading T.J. Watt to build for the future? Before you throw your terrible towels at the screen, hear me out. Watt is a franchise legend, no doubt. But as he enters his 30s, the Steelers face a difficult reality. They're stuck in a cycle of mediocrity, consistently good enough to compete, but not quite good enough to win big. ESPN currently projects the Steelers to finish around 9-8 again this year, which puts them right in the middle of the pack, far from the top quarterback prospects in the 2026 draft. So, here's the hard question. Do you stay in the middle forever, or do you make a bold move to break the cycle? If Pittsburgh were to move Watt, along with some significant draft capital, they could potentially trade up in next year's draft to land a true franchise quarterback. It's the kind of move that hurts now, but could reshape the next decade of Steelers football. Of course, trading Watt would be emotionally brutal. He's the heartbeat of the defense and one of the most beloved players in the NFL. But as harsh as it sounds, every dynasty faces that moment where it has to look towards the future, not just hold on to the past. And Watt's massive 3-year, $123 million extension signed this offseason only adds to the complexity. Financially, it's tough. Emotionally, even tougher. But strategically, it might just make sense if the Steelers truly want to reset and build something sustainable. This trade window, whether it's Waddle, Watt, or both, could mark a turning point in how the Steelers operate under Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin. For the past several years, Pittsburgh has lived in a gray area. Not bad enough to rebuild, not good enough to compete. But if this front office is serious about chasing greatness again, that great area has to go. Jalen Waddle represents a chance to ignite the offense immediately, a bold move to maximize this current window. Trading T.J. Watt, on the other hand, represents a potential long-term gamble, one that could reshape the franchise for the next decade. Both paths have risks. Both could change the team forever. And make no mistake, the Steelers are not afraid of bold moves anymore. This isn't the conservative franchise of old. Under Khan's leadership, Pittsburgh has already shown they'll go out and get stars when the moment calls for it. The Steelers officially placed safety Deshaun Elliott and defensive tackle Daniel Ekuale on injured reserve Friday, a move that shakes up both the secondary and the defensive line. Elliott, who's been battling through knee issues since week 1, was already ruled out for this Sunday's matchup against the Colts. Head coach Mike Tomlin confirmed earlier in the week that Elliott hyperextended his knee, and now this IR move means he'll be sidelined for at least 4 games. It's a tough blow. Elliott's been a tone setter in the backfield. 38 tackles, a sack, an interception, and a forced fumble in just 5 starts. He's been everywhere on the field, the kind of player who brings energy and accountability to the defense. Losing that voice for the next month is going to test this unit's depth.
And then there's Daniel Ekuale. His story hurts even more, literally and figuratively. Ekuale tore his ACL during that frustrating 35-25 loss to the Packers last Sunday night, and Coach Tomlin confirmed he'll miss the rest of the season. The 31-year-old veteran had carved out a solid rotational role with 6 tackles across 7 games, giving this defense much-needed interior push. His absence leaves a void up front, especially with the run defense already struggling. So yeah, losing 2 key defenders right as the team tries to rebound from back-to-back losses, not ideal. But if there's one thing Steelers fans know, it's that this organization doesn't fold under pressure. It adapts. Now, while the injury report might look bleak, there's a silver lining, and it starts with Aaron Rodgers. According to Steelers insider Mark Kaboly, Rodgers wasn't about to let this team sink into self-pity after those 2 crushing defeats. Just 2 days after the loss to Green Bay, Rodgers called a private meeting with all the skill position players. No coaches, no media, just players. Kaboly said that Rodgers gathered the group after walkthroughs and made it clear he was hell-bent on not riding the wave of an NFL season. In other words, the 41-year-old quarterback is taking full command of this locker room. And honestly, this is exactly what you want from your leader. Rodgers knows the ups and downs of the NFL better than anyone. He's been through losing streaks, roster changes, and playoff heartbreaks, and yet he always finds a way to refocus. That's what he's trying to teach this young offense: consistency, accountability, and urgency. He's showing them that every snap counts, every rep matters, and that no matter how rough things get, this team controls its own destiny. Let's be real here, Steelers Nation. The defense hasn't looked like itself. Through 7 games, Pittsburgh ranks 30th in total defense, giving up nearly 386 yards per game. That's not what we're used to. This is a franchise built on defense, from the steel curtain to Polamalu to Watt. But right now, there's a serious identity crisis on that side of the ball. Rodgers can't fix that directly. He's not out there tackling anyone, but his leadership can help steady the ship. He's been here before. Back in Green Bay, Rodgers rarely had elite defenses. The one time he did, in 2010, the Packers won the Super Bowl. After that, he spent most of his career carrying teams with middle-of-the-pack defenses and still made deep playoff runs. That experience matters right now. Rodgers knows what it takes to keep a team composed when the defense is struggling. He knows how to extend drives, control the clock, and limit mistakes to give his defense a break. That's what we'll need to see in the coming weeks, especially without Elliott and Equale. Here's the part that might surprise some fans. Despite the recent struggles, Pittsburgh is still in first place in the AFC North. Yeah, you heard that right. The division has been surprisingly weak this year, with 3 teams sitting below 500. So even at 4-3, the Steelers remain very much alive. It's not time to panic. It's time to rally. Aaron Rodgers is on pace to set the Steelers' single-season passing touchdown record currently held by Ben Roethlisberger, with 34. Let that sink in. If Rodgers stays healthy and continues to build chemistry with his playmakers, he could rewrite team history in his first season wearing black and gold. Imagine that, Rodgers breaking Big Ben's record while leading this team into the playoffs. That's the kind of story that could turn this roller coaster season into something special. But for that to happen, he'll need help from veterans like T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, and Jalen Ramsey, and from the next men up replacing Elliott and Equale. Guys like Trenton Thompson and Keanu Benton might suddenly find themselves in much bigger roles. The question is, can they rise to the occasion? The next stretch is going to define the Steelers' season. 4 games without Elliott, no Equale for the rest of the year, and a defense searching for answers. It's a challenge, no doubt, but it's also an opportunity. We've seen it before. A Mike Tomlin team backs into a corner and fights its way out. Remember last season's late surge? The same kind of spark could ignite here, especially with Rodgers keeping the locker room locked in. And as Rodgers reminded the team, the playoffs aren't played in October or November. There's still plenty of football left and plenty of chances to prove that this group belongs among the AFC contenders. So let's hear it from you. Do you think Omar Khan should pull the trigger on Jalen Waddle now that the window may have reopened? Would you give up a day 2 pick for him, or is that too steep of a price? And what about T.J. Watt? Should the Steelers seriously consider using him as trade leverage to move up for a quarterback next offseason? This is a fascinating crossroads moment for Pittsburgh football. On one side, a potential offensive explosion with Waddle and Metcalf leading the charge. On the other, a possible rebuild that finally brings a young franchise quarterback to the Steel City. Which path would you choose? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear every opinion. And if you love these kinds of deep dive conversations about the future of the Steelers, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our next updates. Because one thing's for sure, the next few weeks could define the future of this team for years to come. Go Steelers!